sport analogy.
I don't know much else.
Chip shots.
I don't know half of what Homer knows, but I don't know much else, so I have to go that route.
All right, we're rolling, so whenever you want to give it a go.
All right, sir? Ready to rock, everybody?
Yes.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of My Faith with Homer and Pip. I am so blessed because Steve the Homer True is one of my greatest friends. Brent Young is behind the camera, another dear friend, and this is just a video podcast about my faith. And it's great that we're here at St. Teresa of Calcutta in North Lake just a couple of days, 2 or 3 days before Christmas, because Mother Teresa, St. Teresa, is one of Homer's favorite people in the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mary Tobolt. And Mary has a uniform on for a specific reason. We'll get into all that, but Homer wants to talk to her about her faith, and as always, he leads off. Get us started, buddy.
It's pretty simple. That's what this show is.
Nice.
Tell everybody who you are, however you wish, and then your faith, when it started, how it started.
Nice.
Take it away.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I grew up on a farm about 2 miles away from here, but we didn't get off the farm very much. We had a lot of work to do, right? So mom and dad, we worked every day. I had a brother and 5 sisters. So we were in the middle. I have a twin sister. So my goal in life was to get off the farm, really, and go see the world. So I decided to join the Air Force and go fly planes. So I've been doing that for a couple decades. But my faith, I look back, and the twin and I were 3 pounds and 4 pounds, in Oconomowoc when we were born. And mom had no doubt, but I still remember this dream. You can tell me it was a dream, but I know it happened. So there I was. I'm going to a warm place that's bright and sunny, and I say, wow, this is where I belong. And I thought, I'm going to stay here. Somebody said, nope, Mary, it's not your time. You need to go back. And I thought, what? This is where I belong. But ever since then, I have no doubt in my faith. I'm sure that happened I feel like that was a real memory of my youth, and that I don't doubt my faith. Flying planes around the world, you also test your faith as well.
Did it come from your parents? Or
Yeah.
I can always remember my first thoughts, or just when did you say this could be important, and how did that take place, and who influenced you, if anyone?
Good. Well, it's interesting that we're sitting in this church. This is where mom, a Catholic in North Lake, she went to church for a long time with Pastor Barsonas, and I remember meeting him. And that was a great part of our childhood. We were between here and St. John's and Stonebank. So they had a strong faith. Dad found the faith as a teenager, and he made the choice. And I really enjoyed hearing those stories of their faith. And, when the water freezes and the pipeline breaks on the farm, you have to have a little faith. Same thing with flying planes. They say in the Air Force, flying is half skill and half faith, or luck, right? Some people call it luck. So I know that faith has gotten me through a couple decades of flying too.
Do you have the same beliefs as your parents, or everybody, this is what's important, you have to go to church, or whatever it is, whether you bought it or not, and
Right.
where it grew from there?
It's important to stop and say, when did it become yours, rather than something other people told you to do. Right?
Yes.
Mhm. I just believe that since a young age, that was my reality. But being deployed and, getting divorced in my past, that was a tough time. And I decided, at that point, I stood up and I said, I have to find normal, and I have to decide what I'm a part of. So I did a Google search like we all do, right? And I decided I'd go back to school and get a doctorate. So I Googled faith, entrepreneur, global, and leadership, and I went to get my faith-based doctorate at Regent University. And, I did my dissertation in China, and it's just really helped me with my faith, based on the fact that at that point I said, I'm going to have a strong faith and a strong identity and strong relationships around me in the future. So that's a crucible memory of my past.
Well, how did you pick those 4?
Right, that's the 4 I picked. Well, we speak of core values, in the Air Force, in the military, hopefully at our homes, around the dinner table, we used to, anyway. And when it comes to core values, in the Air Force, the first day you join, you take an oath, and you say, I'm willing to give my life for these core values in this country that we believe in. So I find it interesting that we have to be able to align to those, and our spiritual health is a part of that, right? There's 4 domains of fitness in the Air Force that we talk about. We have physical fitness, right? I need to be able to do more push-ups than you, so we could try that now if you'd like.
No, it's not.
I'm good.
Maybe
just getting
Pip
down,
wants to.
just getting down the floor is an effort for me. So you win. Okay, continue.
Okay,
please.
good. So then there's mental, right? Mental, and then there's social fitness, which we see as a big challenge these days with our young. And then the fourth one is spiritual. So we list our core values under the spiritual domain of fitness. How many of us can explain what that means? And so I talk to my students. If you're going to be aligned organizationally to core values, you have to be able to align to it on your personal life. So what are your core values? You know, if you walk through town, North Lake here, we say, what are our core values? What are we living for? That's a tough question, right? But in our military, we know what we're willing to die for. So I guess sometimes we start our conversation there. If you're willing to die for something, why aren't you living aligned with it today? So I really believe in spiritual health and fitness, and I love the idea of taking it to the secular world and really saying, what are you living for today?
So you teach it, do you not?
I do.
I mean, somehow faith and your profession
Yes,
works.
yes. So I'm at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott, Arizona now, getting ready to leave the military behind and train the next generation of pilots. And so I was able to help with creating a class in self-leadership and peer leadership for the university as well as the cadets. And self-leadership, one thing we talked about is Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. Because what I was able to do through this class is bring up the topic of faith. And so the students present on faith. And it's a tough topic, you know, to say, all right, we're going to talk about faith today and then not have, and some of the students not want to leave. But we start with his definition, which has to do with your ability to believe in yourself and then believe in a higher purpose. Because how many of us are challenged with our own self-confidence? I've seen a lot of 20-year-olds who come up to me in college and they say, hey, doctor, could you help me with my self-confidence? I mean, I don't know how many times you've asked that in your past.
I usually, I don't go to another human.
Good.
It's me talking to God, and usually I'm complaining about something, but that's where,
Yes.
and I think I just keep track of stuff. It seems like that's worked the best.
Good for you.
But that was going to be my question. You've had these people, these kids, and what would they say about you? If I asked one of them from the faith standpoint of it, well, she makes sure.
Mm-hmm.
What would they say? What would you want them to say about just that aspect of your instruction?
Good, absolutely. And we're talking about faith, right? So
Right.
do they see a higher purpose in me?
Or well, I don't know what they see. What do they see?
Good. Well, we're going to have to ask them. I'm sure they'd love it. I did tell them, you know, I have a lot of good stories now, and they're the next generation. They're going to have some great stories that they need to come tell me. So I hope to stay in contact with them. I'd like to say that they see me serving a higher purpose, you know, in my community. And my doctorate taught me things like globalization. That's what we're doing in North Lake, right? Stonebank, this community. If we want to change the world globally, we have to start locally. And that's why I was so happy to support this podcast. We're heading in the right direction because we're building community. I'd like my students to say that they know I believe in them. And I do believe they're going to be the greatest generation. I have faith in them too.
You address some personal issues, which I think is one of, if not God's greatest strength, and that is to give people some peace of mind after just incredibly terrible things versus people without a faith. To me, it can be disastrous. How has faith fit into things you've had to deal with personally, and how you communicated with God or He communicated with you to handle those things?
Can I tell you a story?
You
That's
do
what
whatever
we're all
you
about,
want.
right?
It's your faith.
That's right. That's
not
right.
ours.
Your faith story.
It's a wow story in my life, and you know, these things happen in your past where you feel like I'm heading in the right direction. And so I was on a nuclear shipyard in a different state in this country as a leadership coach, coaching nuclear mechanics, and they're amazing people what they do there because it's verbatim compliance. If they don't get their job right, somebody could die, right? And it has effects all the way to Wisconsin or beyond. So I'm there coaching, and I'm new. I'm not in my military uniform. I'm a contractor. So I've been hired as a leadership coach to help with blue-collar mechanics. And the Pentagon said, we need some coaches to go to the shipyard to help with leadership so we can return the boats back to the, sorry, you don't say boats in the Navy. Don't tell them I said that. Get the ships back to the Navy on time through good leadership. So it was my passion. That's my calling. And I'm there. It's the first few weeks. I don't know anyone on the shipyard, right? So I'm going to ask you what you would do if you don't mind. Let's say it's your birthday, and you're a female on this blue-collar nuclear shipyard, You have to wear a hard hat, safety glasses, steel-toed shoes, and walk a mile to your job every day. And it's hot, right? It's June. And you think, it's my birthday, what should I do? So, what do you think? If you're female, would you celebrate your birthday? Would you tell people? Would you carry a cake down the pier to this meeting and celebrate it? Or would you just say, hey, I'm not going to be true to myself. I'm just going to pretend it's another day?
I would tell them it's my birthday.
Good.
I don't know that I would bring anything. I would just say this is a special day for me. It's my birthday, and
Yes.
then
Good.
they can take that from wherever they want. And I'm not a big birthday person, so it's a bad person to ask.
Okay. Are you a big birthday person?
Not really. There's a part of me that would probably not tell anybody. I don't know
Right.
if that's false
Can I interrupt?
humility
You know,
or-
she's very good in the military. She gets us asking.
I was going to say, this is a first.
No one's
This
here.
is historic. We've never had anyone on My Faith ask us questions.
Yes, I'm not answering anymore.
All right, but
that's no
but
fun.
how about you? Was it your birthday?
It was my birthday.
And how did you handle it?
Well, that instinct is so important, right? To know what you really feel is being true to yourself. That's where we start. So I said, being true to myself is me celebrating my birthday today. So I brought cupcakes down this pier, and it changed my life for reasons I could have never forecasted, right?
How?
So there I am, right? There I am walking down the pier to a meeting of 20 people, 30 people. That I think we're gonna eat cupcakes and we're gonna have fun, and that's it. At least I celebrated. I checked the box, right? Transactions are dangerous in a transformational world, right? So I get to this meeting, everybody's leaving because they decided to have the meeting early. Okay, so there I am, standing there holding my birthday cupcakes. It doesn't sound very transformational yet, does it? It sounds
yet.
pretty pitiful. But
I wasn't going to use that word, but go ahead.
that's how I felt. I'm like, okay, the first thought was, I could just throw these cupcakes away and no one would know and just move on, right? But I said, no, pick yourself up. This is the key. And these pivotal, crucible moments in our life, we have to pick ourselves up and say no. Find a higher purpose, keep going forward. So I did. I walked into this meeting. One person is in there, right? 30 people have left. There's thousands of people on the shipyard. 350 on the one submarine team alone, but one person in a meeting room. And I said, okay, hand it off. Give this over to someone else, right? So I walk up to this person, and I know that questions will change our lives. That's why I love getting to know you through questions. It's not about me at all. I walk up to him. I don't know him. But I say for some reason, would you like some birthday cupcakes? And what do you think he says to me?
Yes.
He says, how did you know it was my birthday?
Oh my.